Hey, this is episode 2 of Digging for Something. I'm AC Newman from the new Pornographers. We just put out that record. I'm going to talk about a few merge records. This one is the Erectus Monotone 7-inch. It's Merge 009. Mac had to dig this one out for me. And I would like to have it, but I'm not sure if it's mine. He might just be lending it to me. But I remember when Merge showed up, I was really into Superchunk and Polvo were also a big band, and Erectus Monotone were the band I really liked. Maybe because I was just a young hipster and I wanted to go for the most obscure band possible. I wanted to be the guy who could say, yeah, I like a Erectus Monotone a little bit more than Polvo, even though I love them all. But this record, I have not seen it in years. I know it's in my collection somewhere. And you can't get it unless you go on eBay, and even then, God knows. It's either $50 or 50 cents. I don't know which it is. Or maybe it's $500, but it's a really great 7-inch and great cover. Got a dog on the cover. This, I saw Red Kross when I was 19 and I became just obsessed with them. That was the Neurotica tour, and I went and found everything they ever did. And I was so shocked to find out that Steve McDonald was just a little kid when he put out this record. I think he was like 11, maybe 12, and you can tell if you look at him there. Um, I have a copy of this, but it's back when they were just Red Kross, Redcross. And it's very cool that Merge has put this out with all these bonus songs, which I've never heard, but I love. I Hate My School. Uh, Brilliant because Steve's background vocals are basically a little kid yelling. It just sounds like, I hate my school. It sounds exactly like that because he was 11 years old. He was basically the same age my son is now, which is insane to me. That to think of my son playing in a band, so maybe he should be starting a punk band. I'll remind him to do that when I get back home. You've hit the age where you got to start Red Kross. You got to start 2023's Red Kross. One of the things I love to Emerge is that they put out stuff like this. Like they not only are they at the cusp of like finding cool new bands, they reissue Red Kross, they reissue Tall Dwarfs, Neutral Milk Hotel, obscure stuff like that. So yes, all the Red Kross reissues are amazing. You should get this, and you should get Teen Babes from Monsanto and Neurotica. And their new records, they're still going. I love that they're still kicking ass after, holy shit, what has it been? 43 years? No, 44 years. That is insane. This is a Wye Oak Civilian 10th anniversary edition, which is very cool because you get the original album, plus you get Cut All the Wires 2009 and 2011, a collection of rare and unreleased recordings. This is, I gotta be honest, the main reason this is on my mind because I was having breakfast this morning with Adam Schatz, who's been playing saxophone and keyboards with us on this tour, we're kind of borrowing him from a Japanese breakfast. And Jen Wassner came and just sat next to us because she's friends with Adam, and it was fun to hang out with her. And it reminds me of the part I love about playing music is this community. You're always meeting like cool, new, interesting people that you admire, and that kind of thing is inspiring to me. To realize that you're part of this larger artistic community. It reminds me of what I love about making music. It's, that community of making music with your friends, hanging out with your friends, and meeting new people in all the new cities you travel to. So, yeah, Wye Oak Civilian, which has got a 10th anniversary edition, which means it must be their classic, right? If it gets an anniversary edition, that means it's one of your best records. That's what I've been told. And it is their classic, by the way. One of their classics.
I am nothing without pretender. No, my faults can live with them. I am nothing.
This one, Destroyer Blues. I didn't know this was on vinyl. I mean, everybody knows the connection between New Pornographers and Destroyer. It goes way back. I mean, I have to say, like it always meant a lot to me in in the Vancouver scene when I was first coming up. Like Dan took an interest in me, and he was quite a few years older than me. So he was already kind of an elder statesman in the Vancouver scene. So when he wanted to work with me, I thought that was just an amazing honor. And he had advice on songwriting occasionally, like put girls' names in the songs or admonish people in the lyrics. And this has always been one of my favorites, Your Blues. I love that he just tossed out the rule book. I love that he just said, me and John are just going to make an album with MIDI synths. And it's still one of my favorites. Like, It's Gonna Take an Airplane is an amazing song. We were opening for Spoon once, and Spoon brought him on, and they covered It's Gonna Take an Airplane, and I wish I had the recording of that, 'cause it was so good. And in classic dance style, he did backups with his back to the audience. Classic Behar move, back to the audience.
Now in my evil empire, I am gonna be a star in the night sky.
Magnetic Fields, the charm of the highway strip. I mean, what can you say about these guys? They're such a classic band. I mean, I picked this one, but I could have picked any of them at random. 69 Love Songs, the obvious one, or Holiday. Basically, from beginning to end, he's one of my favorite songwriters. Just like a dying breed, I think. There aren't many songwriters like that who feel like they wouldn't be able. You could send him back 100 years in the past, and people would still like his songs. You could, put him up against whatever, the Gershwins or Cole Porter, which I think are a couple names that get thrown around when they describe him, which only means he's a classic songwriter. I cannot say enough good things about him. I don't think he gets enough credit. He gets credit, but I don't think he gets enough. Like, I think he should be, playing to 5,000 people everywhere he goes, because he wrote A Pretty Girl It's Like, which is one of the great songs of the last 25 years. The Clean's Anthology. I did not know this existed, so I'm super psyched. Of course, one of the classic bands of the Flying Nun. Seeing, sadly, we lost Hamish Kilgore in the last year. He was a very cool guy. I got to meet him a few times, and he was a very cool, funny guy. There's one thing he said to me once, which one of those things that will always stick with me. We were just talking about music, and I guess, he always had day jobs. He always did his music and had day jobs. And he asked me like what I did, and I said, well, all I do is do music. I don't have a day job. And he said, oh, so you're a gentleman of leisure then. So I throw that around in tribute to Hamish periodically. I like to say, oh, so you're a gentleman of leisure, I see. But so many good songs here, like Tally Ho, Billy 2, Anything Could Happen. I mean, just absolute classics. I mean, being a person making music and trying to figure out what makes the listener tick, like sometimes you're writing songs and you're thinking, what do people want? And I realized that some people just have a genre they like. Like some people like country music, and if it sounds like country music, they're in. And some people like metal, and if it just sounds like metal, they're like, I love it. If it's metal, I love it. Or if it's techno, I love it. And the genre I love is shambolic indie rock from New Zealand. And you don't have to be from New Zealand. It doesn't have to be 1981. But anybody who has that sound, I'm just in. And these guys invented it, basically, the clean. So I cannot say enough good things about the Clean. Clean and Tall Dwarfs, two of my favorite bands from just a legendary label, a legendary time and place. And a last one, Clientele. I'm not super familiar with this record. I picked it up because I've really been wanting to listen to it because I know this got a ton of attention. Well, look what Pitchfork said. It said one of today's most consistently wonderful bands has kept up its long winning streak. Well, it wasn't really a long winning streak at that point, but it was a good winning streak. I know the first song on Suburban Light. Where is it? Is Suburban Light around here? The first song on Suburban Light was called I Had to Say This. And it was one of those songs where, like, it just played for 30 seconds, and I just went, I love this. I love this band. Who is this? It's just something about the vibe and the melody. And so the Clientele, they just instantly create a vibe and a melody that I really love. Similar to what I just said about loving that shambolic New Zealand indie rock vibe, whatever the Clientele do, it's something I love. It reminds me a little bit of Felt, the more tuneful moments of Felt. But maybe it's something from like the UK in the 80s, but I can't quite place what it is. They've got their own thing. They've got their own vibe, maybe a little bit of the Pastels, but they do their own thing, and they're still going, and they have a new record coming out pretty soon. I forget what it's called. It's not out yet, though, so you can't blame me for not knowing. But get it. Get the new Clientele record. Just a very cool band. I mean, as a person in a band who's like, had first record came out like 22 or 23 years ago, I appreciate the other bands who are sticking to it, and the Clientele are one of them. So long may we all, whatever. Long may we all play. The Clientele, Strange Geometry.
In the silence of the garden, moths are rising on the wind.
This is us. Speaking of bands that just won't go away, it's the new Pornographers. This is my band. I feel very good about this. It was we had a lot of time to work on it in the pandemic, so I thought I wasn't in any kind of rush. We weren't in a super rush. Just wanted to figure out the kind of record we wanted to make and take our time doing it. And very grateful to Merge, wanted to put it out, and we're super happy to have a new home here. Since we were homeless for just a small amount of time, but it's great. It's great to have a home again. Continue. What can you say about your own record? I mean, I think I'd like us, but I don't know. Maybe I'd hate us, you could say. But the tour has been awesome. This doesn't really have much to do with anything, but we were just playing in DC. I was looking out in the audience, and there were kids there. And I thought, oh, their kids love us. And these kids are dancing and partying. And I was looking at other parts in the audience, and there were people that seemed to be in their 60s. Who are just like, dancing around and partying. And I thought, okay, I like that. I like the idea that, like, we're not, I don't want to be the hottest new thing. I just like the idea that, okay, if we can appeal to everyone, I think that's all I ever wanted. I just want, I realized, like, you have to be grateful for your little place in the world. If you can show up in a town and whatever 500 people or 1,000 people come to see you, and it's a collection of kids up to senior citizens, I think that's cool. That's basically what I want. which doesn't have that much to do with this record, but it kind of does. Continue as a guest by us. And this is episode 2 of Digging for Something.
They were digging for something.